the athleticism, I feel like we're really working on, and then just running, endurance kind of things, and
some things
gymnastics.
It was some things that we already knew, right? That you're probably not going to be. It'd be like if you put me in, we're going to do a 1 rep max snatch. You know, I ain't going to do well at it. You know, I'm going to try and survive. It's the same thing for Olivia. She's just a different athlete than me. I think the big thing we learned from Rogue that is different than the teen division that I had to stress to her is like when you go to a teen division, they say, hey, today, kids, we're going to do bar muscle ups and skiing and handstand push-ups. And when you show up, that's exactly what you do. But then when you go to Rogue, you know, they'll be like, hey, you're going to do bar muscle ups on this log over here. And then instead of hipping handstand push-ups, which is what we had practiced with the 2-inch parallel for a deficit, it's going to be strict. And so, you know, the learning process of, hey, you know, when you go to an elite division, they have the capability of the unknown unknowable, as they should, and change things up for the viewer's sake as long as it makes sense. And so, you know, for a young athlete, sometimes you're still working on the basics. And so when you throw a log out there, which I loved to see regardless, it's hard because now it's like, okay, well, you got to learn to overcome these things. So now going to the elite division, that's going to be one big thing is, hey, you got to be prepared for
them to put you on a bus and
her first event, I felt bad. Her first event was like the first elite event. I couldn't even be there because they took her on a bus to.
They were like, no coaches, no parents, get on a bus. You don't know where you're going.
Well, to clarify, you're the only person that was going to bring a parent. No one else.
Okay.
That's a very good point. That's true.
My mom had to sign a permission slip for me to go.
Man. Oh, the irony of that, like, just like getting a permission slip to go on a field trip. I love it.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
That is good stuff. So it just seems, Olivia, for a 16-year-old, I'm amazed at just first of all your maturity, but also just the mental toughness that you seem to have at this early age. Where do you think that comes from?
I think probably just from doing this for so long. Like, I feel like I've been through it all, and I guess I've gotten pretty tough through it all. I mean, Jacob used to make me do vineyard sprints for complaining, so.
What?
I've been through it all, so I've gotten pretty tough.
The best $500 I ever spent in my life. When she was younger, she would complain a lot in the barn. She'd be like, I don't want to do this, it's too hot, whatever, complaining. And so I told her for a whole month she couldn't complain. If she didn't complain for a whole month, I said I'd write you a check right then and there for $500 right there. And you're like 12, so that's like age-wise, that's like $1 million.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's a lot of money. So she didn't complain for, the whole month pretty much. And the last day I called her dad, and her dad was driving her out to the barn. And I said, don't take her to the barn. I said, bring her to the local high school track, tell her to bring a jump rope. And he goes, the best thing about her dad doesn't ask any questions. I was like, just drop her off and leave her, and I'll bring her to the barn later. And so he just drops her off, right? And I was like, at the time, her worst movements she hated the most was double unders and running. And I was like, and today for our last workout, we are going to do a mile and a bunch of double unders every minute we run this mile. And I was like, I'm going to make sure you complain. Didn't complain, cut her a check, that $500 I ever spent.
Wow.
Ooh. I mean, that's one, diabolical on your part, just to really make sure she earned that check at the end.
I want to bring my money's worth, Tommy.
Yeah. Did you buy anything special, Liv? What was the first purchase?
I don't even remember. I don't know. My parents probably made me save it or something stupid. What would a 12-year-old buy?
I mean, I don't know, Pokemon cards or I'm trying to think what was big 4 years ago, but
I'm no idea.
I have no idea.
That's on this stuff.
Well, kind of maybe touching on that a little bit, because obviously Jacob put an interesting obstacle in front of you for that check. Liv, would you say there's any moments of doubt or particular obstacles that you've overcome at this point in your journey that really stand out to you? Because I think it's very easy when we see a young athlete succeed at an early age. Everything is just like, it's so amazing, it's so great, like how good they are at a young age, and we sometimes forget or trivialize maybe some of the trials and tribulations that they may have gone through. So I'm curious if there are any for you that stand out.
I want to say there's one in particular that's like, oh, this is a big obstacle I had to overcome. I feel like just little things along the way, like just little things that I've had to overcome, like minor injuries or like weaknesses, just getting over those. And like, I wouldn't say there's like a big obstacle I've had to overcome, just little things as I've been going.
Jacob, cared?
Yeah,
I was gonna say that.
Yeah, this is an obstacle.
a Heppner-sized obstacle. Yeah.
Not that big, 5'7", you know, pretty small.
This is CrossFit, you know.
To end this on sort of the last question I have is I'd like to know what the two of you admire about one another.
Oh man. You want to go first or me? Oh, she's gonna get nervous. I'll go.
I don't know. Okay, you can go first.
Yeah, I mean, like, so let me ask you this. If I told you, hey, Tommy, hey, Sean, you're going to show up every day, sometimes twice a day when it's hot as crud outside, and for 4 years, you're going to do that, and you're not going to reap any of the rewards. You're never going to get to go see anybody, go do it in front of anybody, right? Like, you just got to do it in your barn by yourself with someone else, right? But you don't get to actually go out and showcase it. Would you still do it? I know my answer. My answer would be a hard hell no, like a hard pass, right? And that's essentially, but that's the opportunity that was given to her, or the option, right? Was, hey, you're going to do this for 4 or 5 years, and you can't go do it anymore because no one's going to let a 12-year-old, because of insurance, go take a floor, because legally, which makes sense. I'm okay with that. But you're going to have to be in the shades, the shroud, behind the curtain, doing all the work, and no one's going to see it until 2020, and then COVID came. But you see the point. Is that admiration, I think, comes from just the ability to put your nose down in hard work with no recognition. And you see a lot of people in the sport that do things for recognition, whereas in this case, there's nothing until now. So
sure.
That's mine. That was a good one.
That was good.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I feel like mine's gonna sound like dumb and basic now, but I feel like it's just like how hardworking you are, just because like you're retired, but you still work out with me every day and like do all the stuff, and you come out after I'm done and shoot and just continue to do stuff. And even though you're retired, you're still probably working out more than me. And so, yeah, I would just say you're hardworking.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I don't want to lose to you.
Yeah, yeah, that's what it is.
You're even competing when you're complimenting each other.
Yeah.